Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm bringing you guys a 2021 NFL mock draft. Now, this mock draft is post what we would describe as a almost three-way-esque trade, a menage a trois between the Miami Dolphins, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, technically, it's not a three-way trade. It's the Dolphins trading with two different teams, trading with the Eagles, trading with the 49ers, but for the sake of the video to make it really just easier to understand, I will be going over the trade so that if you guys don't necessarily know exactly what happened and you want a full breakdown of it, I will talk about it for just about a minute before we end up starting up the mock draft. So before we get into that, if you guys do end up enjoying this video, you want more NFL content, fantasy football, NFL draft, and just overall NFL content, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, because not only is it free, I put out content every single day, and once we hit April, as we approach the draft, we're going to get all types of different mocks going onto my YouTube channel with potentially some special guests. So if you guys do end up enjoying this video, again, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. So like I said, guys, first we're gonna have to break down the trade, and I'm gonna show you what happened. This tweet is courtesy of my friend at Fantasy Couch, very nice guy who makes fantasy football content. The 49ers trade up with the Dolphins, then the Dolphins trade up with the Eagles. So in this trade, the three-way, the Philadelphia Eagles got their 12th pick from the San Francisco 49ers, pick 123 of the draft from the Miami Dolphins, and a 2022 first-round pick from the Dolphins. Now, the 49ers, out of all this, they just end up getting the third pick in the draft, which is pretty solid for them. Obviously, they went from a team that was looking like maybe they stick with Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I understand there's reports, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy for the 49ers. They wouldn't have done this if Jimmy Garoppolo was the guy, and my Miami Dolphins got a 6th overall pick from the Philadelphia Eagles, pick 156, a first-round pick in 2022 third-round pick, and a first-round pick in 2023. So the Dolphins got a zillion picks in this one. We moved around. It was a little bit confusing to understand as it was going down, but now that you have, like, the full picture, I'm sure this makes it a little bit easier to understand. So, again, shout out to the Fantasy Couch for that. So let's get into it. We're doing a first-round mock draft with all of the teams. So we begin, just like normal, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just like every single mock draft that I do, we are going to go with Trevor Lawrence at the 101 to the Jacksonville Jaguars, quarterback out of Clemson. It is, as I've said in every video, a no-brainer. If the Jaguars somehow pick someone different here, everyone in the world's minds will be blown. To me, there is no way that anyone gets picked at this number 1 overall pick besides Trevor Lawrence. He is by far the safest. If they draft Trevor Lawrence and he ends up sucking, it'll be like, oh, well, that's not the Jaguars' fault. This guy looks like the best prospect coming into the league since Andrew Luck. Looks like one of those top guys that is going to be great in the NFL for years to come. So to me, it's a no-brainer with the Jags selecting Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. Next up, we got the New York Football Jets. Now, it seems like the Mono Man Sam era, Broadway Sam Darnold era, is done in New York. Now, a lot of New York is saying, oh, now it's time for Broadway Zach Wilson. So it seems like a majority of pretty much everyone, draft analysts, fucking newspaper guys, everyone seems to believe that the Jets are going to draft Zach Wilson here. Now, don't be surprised if they end up picking Justin Fields, but it seems like the consensus here is the guy with an arm like Patrick Mahomes, like Josh Allen, based upon that pro day we saw. Now, again, you cannot take everything off of the pro day. Why is that? Because he's not throwing to people who are, guess what? Covered. They're not covered at all. He's just rolling out and fucking throwing an absolute piss missile down the field. But at the end of the day, I like Zach Wilson a lot, and I think he ends up being a New York Football Jet out of BYU. Now is when the draft gets a little bit spicy, because again, the 49ers traded up to get this pick with the Miami Dolphins. Then the Dolphins made the trade with the Eagles. So we're sitting here at number 3, and this clearly means the 49ers are drafting a quarterback. There is no way that they traded up to 3 to select Penny Sewell, or to select Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, Jalen Waddle, someone like that. There's no way. That's why they did it. So they move up here, and there is a 50-50 shot right now that it is Justin Fields or Trey Lance, because we're seeing a lot of hype come out about Trey Lance. A lot of people are talking about how Trey Lance has this athletic ability, freak athlete, over 1,000 rushing yards in 2019. He did opt out in 2020, played one game, but pretty much opted out because the league he plays in college is actually playing right now, so he doesn't want to play, doesn't want to tear his ACL, doesn't want to get fucked up before the NFL draft, obviously, which makes sense. So it's between Lance and Justin Fields. Personally, I think Fields is the better player, and I think Fields is who gets drafted here. But again, do not be surprised if North Dakota State sneaks up there. The guy, Mr. Trey Lance, sneaks up here and gets picked at number 3. But for the sake of this mock, I think Justin Fields is the third quarterback off the board. And now we are in a situation where literally this has never happened before, where 4 quarterbacks could potentially come off the board in the first 4 picks. We saw Trevor Lawrence, we've seen Zach Wilson, we've seen Justin Fields, and now do the Falcons end up drafting a quarterback here, or are they sold in on Matt Ryan for at least 2 or 3 more years? Now, personally, I think that Matt Ryan can actually play for another 3, 4, 5 potential years. He hasn't seemed to have lost a step. Sure, he hasn't put up that MVP season that he had when he ultimately lost in the Super Bowl to the New England Patriots, but he also isn't bad, right? It's just the fact that their defense is fucking dick cheese. They're getting rolled over in these games, and then Matt Ryan ultimately stands no chance. Why? Because the defense is not doing anything to help him. So to me, it is entirely possible that the Atlanta Falcons here say, screw you, Trey Lance. We wanted Justin Fields. Justin Fields is no longer there because the 49ers moved up, obviously, pre-draft. Now, we're going to get Jamar Chase. We're going to get Kyle Pitts. Now, they already have Julio. They have Hayden Hurst at tight end. And they have Calvin Ridley at wide receiver as well. But Julio, he's getting up there in age. Now, I don't personally think Julio is going to retire in the next 2 years or something, but maybe that is possible and they end up drafting a wide receiver. But I am going to stick with my guns in believing the unheard of occurs and 4 quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the draft, and Trey Lance gets selected here at number 4. I personally do not believe any team has the fucking balls to draft Mac Jones ahead of these 4 quarterbacks. Now, it is entirely possible because of how we saw him shine in the Senior Bowl. We've seen teams get down on their knees and suck this guy off, at least in the media terms. We can see that. But at the end of the day, it seems like Trey Lance is the number 4 quarterback overall in most people's rankings, in my rankings as well. I like Lawrence, I like Wilson, I like Fields, and then I like Trey Lance. Going in the exact order that we're drafting here, I think it is entirely possible that Lance is the pick here. I really would be shocked if they didn't go with the quarterback here. But again, nothing is impossible because if you think about it deeply, they don't really need the quarterback just yet. I think Matt Ryan will be good to go for the next couple of years, but in this scenario, we have Trey Lance riding the pine and learning from Mr. Matty Ice Baby. Dun, 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 dun. At number 5, now we're in a position where, to me, this is a no-brainer pick. You are the Bengals. Oh, but Joe Burrow wants Jamar Chase. Him and Jamar Chase played really good at LSU when they won the national championship. Oh, Nick, maybe Kyle Pitts will go there, and it'll be like Zach Eifert back in the day. Is that his name? Eifert, whatever. Tyler Eifert back in the day. Do you remember that, Nick? How good he was? It'll be like Andy Dalton to Tyler Eifert, but now it's Pitts and Burrow. Come on. If they don't draft a tackle, they don't draft Sewell here out of Oregon, who's looked at as a franchise tackle, looked at as a for sure locked and loaded top 5 guy. If they pass up on him and draft a wide receiver, if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm fucking smashing my television because Joe Burrow got hurt last year because the offensive line opens up like the Red Sea. Just don't be silly. Wrap your willy. Protect Mr. Joey B. Draft Penei Sewell here. Now at number 6, my Dolphins moved from 3 to 12. Now we're at 6. We're at 6 here because we traded with the Eagles. This clearly, to me, means the Eagles do not want to replace Jalen Hurts. Now, there was reports that apparently they kind of wanted to pick a guy, but they didn't feel like their guy in Fields or Lance, whoever it was going to be there. So they moved back. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So apparently maybe Hurts wasn't the guy in their mind that we thought he was going to be. So, Dolphins are up here. My Miami Dolphins. Sewell is gone, who I personally think is a very good pick for the Dolphins. We don't end up getting him. So, now we're in wide receiver or tight end category. And it really depends who the Dolphins want, because you're not really seeing many people mock Devontae Smith to the Dolphins at 6. And to me, it is entirely possible that we draft the Slim Reaper at number 6, the Heisman guy. Now, you don't want to necessarily just draft a guy because he won the fucking Heisman, because then you're going to get in the Johnny Manziel category, just popping jokes at that guy, even though I love Johnny Football. But listen, I think that it is entirely possible that the Dolphins draft Chase, Smith, Waddle, or Pitts at this pick. I really do. Now, do I know for sure that all these guys are going to be here? No, because again, I think the Bengals could mess up and do something a bit silly there, but we are going to go with my pick, who I personally believe the Dolphins will take, and that is Ja'Marr Chase. Now, obviously, there's the Alabama narrative with Waddle, with Smith. Tua played with them, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Pick the best player available, Ja'Marr Chase, wide receiver, out of LSU. Now, at number 7, we have the Detroit Lions. Now, pretty much every single mock, I have taken Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle to this team. Now, they already have a tight end in TJ Hawkinson, who they drafted relatively highly a couple of years ago. Not too sure how long he's been in the league. Not super long, obviously. Very good tight end. One of the better tight ends in the NFL. I really like him a lot. But now we are in a scenario where a trade back could occur. I thought the Dolphins would trade back at 3, and they ended up just doing that, obviously, before the draft even started. So it is interesting to see that. Do the Lions really need to make this pick? Could they afford to move further back in the draft and get a guy that they want? Are they going to be able to do that? Because to me, I think the Patriots are going to be knocking on the door, no longer of Matt Patricia. They're going to be knocking on the door, fucking smacking that thing. He's going to bring in one of those, what is that called, where you bust a door open with, I don't even know what, a battering ram? Bill Belichick's going to battering ram the door open and be like, I want Mac Jones. Now, I think this. I don't think Cam Newton's the guy for the future. Cam Newton looks washed. Probably play better next year with better weapons, obviously. But I think they want Mac Jones. There's reports, maybe they're going to get Jimmy Guap from the 49ers, so maybe that's possible. But sneaky that the Lions could move their pick here to the Patriots at number 15 and get Mac Jones. Sneaky. Now, if that does not occur, if that scenario does not occur to me at 8, it's locked in. The Panthers go get Mac Jones. They want their fucking quarterback. They were very confident in the Reese's Puffs, peanut butter chocolate flavor. The Reese's, what's it called? The Senior Bowl. They're very high on Mac Jones based upon that. They worked with Mac Jones in it. So, if the Patriots don't swindle in here and trade for this 7th pick, then to me, Mac Jones is a lock at 8. Now, I'm not too sure Bill Belichick is crazy enough to do it, but we've seen Bill Belichick do some already just dumb stuff. Not dumb necessarily, but just some uncharacteristic stuff. Just fucking paying Jonnu Smith $7 zillion. They get Jonnu, and they're like, you know what, we want another tight end. Run it back, Turbo, to the Gronk and Aaron Hernandez days, baby. Killer combo. They want that back. But you can't run that with Cam Newton. So do they want Mac Jones? Do they believe in Mac Jones? I don't know. But for the fun of the mock draft, the love of the sport, the love of the game, we're going to do it. We're going to see if the Lions are willing to trade with the Patriots here. We are going to go ahead here and go to the NFC, which is where the Detroit Lions play, and trade with the... Actually, I think it would be the opposite way. I think the Patriots would be... The phone is ringing right here. They'd be calling up. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this real quick. And then we're going to send the trade to the Detroit Lions. This is how we're going to do it. The Patriots call up the Detroit Lions. Hello. Pick 15. They're going to have to obviously give up here. They're probably going to have to give away a future first-round pick as well for this. Again, you don't necessarily know how much these trades are going to be worth, right? How many first-round picks does it take to move from 15 to 7? I don't know. The Dolphins got a zillion picks for that move, but do the Patriots give up that many picks? I don't know, so we're just going to do this for now. A first, a third, and a first. Again, don't fucking sue me over this because it's entirely possible that it looks a little different for this 7th overall pick right here, and we'll see if it ends up going through here. The Lions are evaluating the offer. Congratulations, the Lions have accepted the deal. Again, don't pay too much attention to exactly what I offered the trade as because it could be completely different in the NFL and when the actual draft happens. So now the Patriots have phoned the Lions. They get the trade, and they're drafting Mac Jones to replace Wham Bam Cam Newton, Alabama boy Mac Jones. Now at 8, the Panthers are so fucking furious. You just have to be if you're a fan. You're so pissed because you thought Mac Jones would be there, and the Patriots finagled their way up there. So now you're sitting here, and you're just sad, right? There's no way you draft Kyle Trask or Kellen Mond or Jamie Newman or something crazy here. So you know what you do? Just say, fuck it. You just draft like Rashawn Slater or something here. Just protect Bridgewater for one more year and hope that you end up getting a quarterback in 2022. Next up here at number 9, the Denver Broncos. They're also probably a little bit mad, even though in reality they have like a 0% chance of getting So they probably didn't think they were going to get Mac Jones, but there's still the possibility that the Panthers or the Broncos end up getting Deshaun Watson. Now, again, maybe by draft time we know what happened with the Watson situation. Maybe we don't. And I don't know if he gets traded if all that legal drama is going down. So at number 9, the Broncos are up, and here they're just going to go ahead and pick the best player available to fit their system. On defense, in my opinion, it could be Micah Parsons. It could be Patrick Surtain. It could be J.C. Horn. Now, the issue here at corner is that the injury that occurred to Mr. Caleb Farley is making his draft stock drop like it's hot, like he's in a Snoop Dogg song. So, I mean, a back injury, back surgery doesn't sound great, right? Does not sound great. So I don't think he gets picked this high anymore. I think they could go with either of these guys. I'm going to go ahead and say they select Patrick Surtain here, cornerback out of Alabama. Now, the Cowboys are up. They need defense tremendously as well, and I think they go ahead and get J.C. Horn now, who is considered higher up now to most people when compared to Caleb Farley. Even though without the back surgery, I think Caleb Farley could have been the first corner off the board. Now, the Giants are up on the board. The Giants filled a lot of holes in free agency. Kenny Golladay, obviously, Kyle Rudolph, having a decent tight end. Now, it's still entirely possible that they're on the fuck Evan Ingram train. They're like, he's going to be gone soon once his contract runs out. So we can still draft Kyle Pitts. We can still do anything. But here, I think they end up actually drafting an edge rusher. Now, Gregory Russell is a guy that I saw a lot of people talking about heavily to be like the number 1 guy earlier on, and then he completely shifted and has fallen back. It seems like Kwity, we paid out of Michigan. Seems like the best edge rusher still available. The Giants need an edge rusher. That defense is very strong after the moves they've been making in the offseason. Even last year, the defense was pretty solid, so I like Kwity Paye here to be a now New York Football Giant. At number 12, the Philadelphia Eagles are here. They traded back, and they're going to be very, very happy because if they wanted to draft a wide receiver, they wanted to draft a tight end, they're both here still on the board. Now, this is a miraculous occasion because I think Kyle Pitts has the potential to be a top 5 pick. Of him still being here, to me, I'm picking him here. He's a tight end. That's a wide receiver. You watch his tape, you wouldn't even know that the guy's a fucking tight end. I think that this is what the Eagles do, and with Goddard, they have 2 very solid tight ends on the roster. Next up here, we got the Los Angeles Chargers. They're a bit sad here. They did not end up getting Kyle Pitts, but there is still potential that they end up drafting Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle out of Virginia Tech. They obviously want to protect Justin Herbert, who they drafted last season at the 6th overall pick after the Dolphins went with Tua Tagovailoa. So to me, offensive tackle here does seem like a possible pick. Obviously, they could go with Azeez Ojulari, edge rusher out of Georgia, but for the sake of this mock, we're going to go with them drafting an O-tackle here at pick numero 13. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings, and I like the Vikings to potentially trade out of this pick, but I just don't know who is really sitting here that wants, right, that really wants to trade up here because all the quarterbacks are obviously gone, so we're not going to make any trades here. We're going to go ahead and select Mr. Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC to be protecting Mr. Kirk Cousins as well as Mr. Dalvin Cook in their interior offensive line. At number 15, the Lions, still very happy here because they ended up trading their pick, obviously, with the Patriots, but Smith is still here. Waddle is still here. To me, I think Smith is the better player. I think with Kenny Golladay gone, with Marvin Jones gone, they need another wide receiver to help out Mr. Jared Goff, now starting quarterback of the team. I like the Lions here at 15 to go with Smith. At number 16, the Cardinals can really do anything at this pick. They desperately need a cornerback, or to be their number 2 cornerback, but are they willing to take the risk on Farley not being ready or Farley being complete bust because he had back surgery? Now, again, I'm not as worried about back surgeries in 2021 as I am from like 1980 when these guys dislocate their hip and their career is over. So, I'm more likely to draft Farley here. The sexy pick, the fun pick for fantasy football, for just seeing an amazing offense in Arizona, is actually them just drafting Najee Harris here, running back out of Alabama. But I'm going to go ahead here and say they select Farley. Now, again, crucify me in the comments. Farley's going to fall much further. It's entirely possible that a team that wants a corner drafts Farley here at this pick at 16. Now, at number 17, the Las Vegas Raiders are up. The Raiders ended up trading away their whole fucking just losing their whole offensive line. They bring in Kenyon Drake for some reason for way too much money. So now they're sitting here looking a bit confuzzled. I think they can go ahead. Confuzzled, one of my... That's something people used to say when I was in middle school. But it's a nice joke. Not even really a joke. Just a dumb comment to make, Nick. You idiot. No, I'm just kidding. If you guys have enjoyed this video thus far, we're about 20 minutes in. You probably have had a fun time. I think we're having a fun time today. So, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So, the Raiders are up here. They could go with tackle. But to me, it's just like... The tackles are gone, right? The top three guys. So now you're just sitting here like, who's the best? Cosme? Is it Liam Eichenberg? Is it Jalen Mayfield? Is it Tevin Leroy Jenkins? I don't know. So we're going to go ahead here and go with a linebacker in Mr. Micah Parsons out of Penn State to bolster this Raiders defense. Now my Dolphins are up, obviously moved a little bit around in the draft. Got Jamar Chase at 6. Didn't have to draft him 3, obviously, because we moved on from that pick. Now we're up here at 18. Sadly, Parsons is gone, who is a guy that I actually like the Dolphins to potentially take. I don't think Brian Flores is the kind of coach who's going to say, we get Chase, now we're drafting Najee Harris. Got a wide receiver, now we're going to draft a running back. Now, I don't know if he's going to do that because he loves defense. He's a defensive-minded head coach, but it's also entirely possible that that does happen. So here, in this draft, we are going to go ahead and say that they end up drafting running back Najee Harris, even though I think that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Notre Dame linebacker, is possible here. Now, Jalen Waddle has fallen pretty far, so this is definitely a spicy mock draft here. We're having a great time today. Jalen Waddle at number 19. Now, they did just bring in Curtis Samuel, which kind of hurts the narrative that they could draft Waddle here. They have scary Terry McLaurin, so we're not going to do that. We're going to be nice to the Chicago Bears, even though there's a very low chance that Waddle falls this far. But again, it's just my opinion of the mock draft. We're having a fun time today, and it's just a way to look at the draft again. No one's going to be 100% correct when it comes to these drafts, so let's get back to it. The safe pick is just drafting O-tackle here. I think JOK is a great pick here as well, but that's who we're going to end up going with here. JOK out of Notre Dame at number 20. The Chicago Bears are up. The wet dream pick is still here. Jalen Waddle. They have Al Robinson. Is he a tag and trade candidate? Maybe, but as of right now, he's still there, but I think Waddle fits as a nice number 2 in this offense. At number 21, the Indianapolis Colts are up on the board, and to me, Gregory Newsome seems like a very juicy pick here to the Colts. Now, I understand that he's not necessarily one of those super highly touted quarterbacks, but I think he seems like a nice pick here, or they could go safe and go with Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State. Either way is entirely possible here. So I'm going to go ahead here and go with the safer pick, which is to protect Mr. Carson Wentz. Next up here, we got the Titans, and they're going to be very happy here to have Mr. Greg Newsome fall to them because their defense is down tremendous, but they also need a wide receiver. Why? Because they got rid of Corey Davis. So it's just A.J. Brown versus the world in the wide receiver core. So I think they end up drafting Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of It Is Cold, like Minnesota. Didn't play too many games last season due to injury, but you can still go back and look at the tape, and he does look very solid. The stats obviously aren't there, though, with him because he didn't play as many games. At number 23, the New York Football Jets are here, and I think this is where Newsome goes. If he ends up falling this far, the Jets want to bolster upon a defense with their defensive-minded head coach, and I like Gregory Newsome, a very sleeper-ish pick at the cornerback position because a lot of people are saying that he is potentially be a lockdown corner. I'm not calling him Darrell fucking Revis, but I'm saying he may be a little bit better than what people are giving him the kind of praise for. Now, at 24, the Steelers are up to bat. At 24 for the Steelers, the fun pick would be going with Travis Etienne. Seems like James Conner's on his way out the door. Has not been signed yet, has not went elsewhere yet, so it is possible that he comes back. I mean, the Steelers have the wide receivers. They have a pretty strong defense. The corners that they say they need, they're really just Eric Stokes, I feel like, will not end up being a first-round pick. Maybe, like, one of the last picks of the first round, not pick 24. So I'm going to go ahead and say they just play it safe and end up drafting an O-tackle at this pick, even though the fun would be in drafting Travis Etienne. They end up drafting Samuel Cosme, O-tackle, out of Texas. Horns down. Next up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and here we are going to Again, I want to play it safe, but I don't know if this many O-tackles are going to go in the first round. Is Eichenberg worthy of a first-round pick? I'm not sure. At wide receiver, there's still some wide receivers, but I don't feel like they need to draft a wide receiver. Because they have Chark. They have Laviska. But maybe they still do. I mean, the wide receivers still available are decent. Terrence Marshall is definitely a solid wide receiver out of LSU. So it is possible. Rondale Moore is obviously a fun pick, but they kind of already... Now, not saying Rondale Moore is Laviska Shenault, but he's the kind of guy who's going to do things that Rondale Moore can do, so I don't think they end up picking him. I think they would go with a safer pick in like a guy like Kadarius Toney or Terrence Marshall. It is possible that a guy like Amari Rodgers gets drafted here because he played with Trevor Lawrence, but we're not going to mess with that. So we're going to go with Kadarius Toney, wide receiver of the Florida Gators, going at 25 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doesn't have to go too far. My fucking voice cracked like I'm 12 years old. Kadarius Toney, moving a couple feet from wherever the Gators play to Jacksonville. Next up here at number 26, we got the Cleveland Browns. This is the juicy spot. They have Garrett, but they're going to get another guy next to Garrett in Azeez Ojulari out of Georgia. Now, it could be Jalen Phillips. Could be Rousseau. Could be Jason Owe. But based upon what I've seen, Azeez Ojulari would be the guy here at this pick because he's the highest rated edge rusher from what I've seen based on consensus. Now, again, guys, who really knows what the fuck the Jaguars think? Or not the Jaguars, you silly goose, the Browns. At number 27, we got the Baltimore Ravens here. I think we see back-to-back edge rushers. We could see Trayvon Moehrig go here. He is really sneaking up into the first round based on a lot of mock drafts. So it will be interesting to see him go here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to spice it up a little because I kind of go edge rusher every time to the Ravens. At number 28, the New Orleans Saints are up here. I don't think they end up going corner or wide receiver here because, to me, there just does not seem like the value here. Maybe this is the Eric Stokes spot corner out of Georgia, but I think they end up going with a very, very breakout-ish candidate in 2020 at Miami, obviously, with Rousseau opting out. Jalen Phillips played very well, and I think Jalen Phillips has the potential to be this pick here out of Miami to the New Orleans Saints. Now, quarterbacked by Mr. EW, famous Jameis Winston. At number 29, we got the Green Bay Packers, and the Packers are never going to do what you want them to do. Wouldn't be surprised if they picked fucking Kyle Trask here, even though they already have Jordan Love, because it seems like they have no idea what they're doing in the draft. They just close their eyes and click on the screen. I would do that, but then people get mad. Oh, Nick, the Packers don't actually do that, you fucking dumbass. I know that's not what they actually do, but that's what it seems like. At tackle, it could be Eichenberg here at 30 or at 29 to the Packers, and that's what we're going to end up doing. But it could be anything here. You know what? We're going to go with Eric Stokes here because their corners do need work in Green Bay. At number 30, the not the Minnesota Vikings, the no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills are up to bat. And we're going to go ahead here and just make a very safe pick in Jason Owe, edge rusher out of Penn State. Actually, we're going to go with Gregory Rousseau. While he opted out, I think he showed enough of raw ability in 2019 to be drafted here at 31. We got the Kansas City Chiefs. They need O-line. They got some O-line. I think it's possible that they draft, but I think they're also just one of those teams that's crazy as fuck, and they'll just draft the wide receiver. We're going to go a little bit spicy here and go with Elijah Moore, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. And finally, to close out the draft, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the layup pick that I pick every single time in Mr. Barrymore, interior defensive lineman out of Alabama who was all over Justin Fields in the national championship. So, thank you guys all so much for watching this video. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. I hope you guys had a great time. I'm going to scroll down as I ramble on for a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, comment down below the word blue used in a sentence, and I'll make sure to like it and interact with you in the comment section. I love all of you guys. Thank you guys so much. Happy Sunday. 2 mocks this week, technically, I guess, but it's really the end of the week on Sunday, so I hope you guys did end up enjoying, and fuck Syracuse for losing my bets. I went 0-5 on college basketball picks yesterday. Down tremendous, even though I was on like a hot streak. Pain. Love you guys all. Goodbye!